Once again, Tu154b for FlightGear, and in this video we'll be covering the engine startup procedure. So go ahead and switch to the engineering view by pressing the 5 key. Okay. And the first thing we'll want to do is turn on the batteries. So click the battery switch up. And we'll go ahead and put it on ground power by setting the power selector switch to the bottom, just the external power. Switch to the navigator view, pressing number 3, and you'll notice the 3 switches at the top. This is your navigation lights, beacon lights, and your instrument cabin lights. We'll switch them all on and go back to the engineering view. Okay, we'll need to start up the APU, so switch on the APU start switches here, and we'll need to open the cover here. This is the APU fuel cutoff. We'll switch this up and close the cover. I should see 3 lights come on here, which is the APU door open, fuel pressure, and ready to start. And just go ahead and press the start button here, and you'll notice the APU spooling up, and you'll see the green light here which shows the APU starting. Okay. Next we'll want to connect the bleed air for the engine start system and the ventilation and whatnot. This is the bleed air switch here. We want to hold this up until the light goes out. Now let's turn on the AC/DC inverter master switches here, and we'll go ahead and connect to our onboard power here by putting it in the up position. Okay. Now make sure the thrust levers are in the idle position, and we'll move the engine stop levers up, and let's turn on the temperature monitoring for each engine, the EGTs, and then we'll work on the fuel system. Okay, you'll see the 3 red covered switches here are the fuel shutoffs. Let's open those and put the switches in the up position, and you can close the covers. And we'll want to turn on the fuel meter power switch here. You'll see the fuel meters come up, and then we'll start turning on the fuel pumps for the fuel tanks. So open the 4 switches here for the center tank, and then we'll turn on the fuel pumps for the 2 wing tanks left and right here, and the fuel pump for the ballast balancing tank here. Open the cover here and put on the power for the fuel automation. Close the cover. We'll put the fuel source selector in the up, which is the automatic, and turn on the fuel flow meter power. Next we can open the cover here for the engine start switches, and we'll turn on the main start and the dry run start switch here. This switch to the right is for the heating device, which you would use during cold temperature startups, but that's not yet implemented in FlightGear, so we can ignore that. Here's the 3-way position switch for the engine selector, so just put it in the bottom left for the engine number 1, and you can press the start button, and you'll hear the engine coming up, and you can see the engine spooling up here. And when the engine reaches idle, you'll hear the engineer call out. And then we'll do the same thing for engines 2 and 3. And then engine number 3, last one. Okay, once all 3 engines are started and idling, we'll put the engine selector back in the center position, and we can turn off the start switches and close the cover. Let's put the fuel balancer in automatic by putting the fuel balance switch in the up position here. And want to connect the generators for the engines. And you'll hear the call out when all generators connected. And we can disconnect the APU power by putting the power selector in the neutral position. And we want to close the bleed air for the APU. We hold the switch down till the light comes on, and then we can stop the APU and turn off all the switches. And that's it for the engine startup now. All engines are started up, running, and that's all there is to it. Next video will